If the world hates you, just remember that it has hated me first. If you belong to the world, then the world would love you as its own. But I chose you from this world, and you do not belong to it. That is why the world hates you. Whoever hates me, hates my Father also. They would not have been guilty of sin if I had not done among them the things that no one else ever did. As it is, they have seen what I did, and they hate both me and my Father. They hated me for no reason at all.
And we are live. How's it going, everybody? God bless everybody. It is Thursday, October 9th. We are here. Hope everyone's having a beautiful, blessed morning, day, or night, wherever you guys are. Hope you guys are ready for today's show, where we will be going over One Peak 1162 long summary spoilers. I'm excited for this one. We finally made it back to the spoiler content. We were gone in Japan, but now we're back. We're going to be going over some stuff. We're going to try a new format as well today, guys. I'm going to try my best to not get too distracted, especially with the chat. We're going to try to stay to the spoilers. I'm going to give my full analysis, my full reading, and some good notes, some good deep discussions regarding this chapter and the implications that this chapter has on the narrative. Then we'll move over to the chat. And slowly over time, guys, again, we'll be moving towards like a new format for the channel, new format for the show, new format for the streams, where we try to stay a bit more on topic. Eventually, I kind of want to just discuss a chapter or discuss the spoilers for a new One Piece drop. And try to not get too distracted with the side topics and the side comments and, random things in chat. And probably have a segment for, the last portion of the stream where we, go through the super chats and the donation messages and stuff like that, where this is a more focused approach to the content. As you guys know, for past like 4 years, 5 years, however long I've been doing this One Piece streaming stuff, I'll read the messages in chat as soon as they roll in, and I'll read the super chats as soon as they roll in. But I've been doing a lot of thinking, especially when I was in Japan, doing a lot of self-reflection. And I kind of realized that, with that approach, it does have its pros, it does have its perks, being really interactive, I think is very important. Talking to you guys in the chat, highlighting comments and stuff like that. But I do find that it does kind of create a distraction a lot of the times where I can't go off on a point or fully dive into something and explain something without, getting sidetracked and without getting distracted. And that's not to pin the blame on you guys, not to say like, oh, I need to ignore the chat. That's definitely not my point. I want you guys to continue posting things in the chat, have discussions. I'm not silencing the chat. In fact, if there was no chat, then this would be pointless. I just hope you guys see where I'm coming from. Just trying to smooth things out, trying to stay on topic to give you guys good content. That's the goal here. Everybody wants good content. Everybody wants the best content. So I hope you guys understand, and hope you guys help me out, because moving forwards, there's probably going to be a lot more people crying about how they're being ignored in the chat. And obviously, you guys know that I don't ignore people and that I try my best to respond to everybody with a full-fledged answer to whatever it is that they're asking. So I'm glad to see everyone here. Hope everyone's having a beautiful morning, day, or night, wherever you guys are. Glad to see you guys. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. Let's get this show on the road, guys. Let's get this show on the road. We got One Piece 1162 long summary spoilers. I'm excited to go over this. I'm excited to read through this and give you guys my takes, a good discussion, a good analysis behind these spoilers, as well as how this implicates things that we know in the story, how we should look at these characters now that this happens, or now that these events happen, rather than being surface level. I don't want to stay too surface level all the time. I like to dive deep into things. I like to ask the hard-hitting questions. I like to look at all the implications that these things bring. So I'm excited. Let's try this out, guys. One Piece chapter 1162. GVBR, God Valley Battle Royale. Okay, so I'm wondering if this is the Battle Royale that Oda hinted about a year or two ago at the, I believe it was the Jump Festa response. If you guys remember, a year or two ago, maybe 3 years ago, Oda had a comment. I think it was at a Jump Festa event where he was talking about how all these characters are going to come together and there's going to be a Battle Royale. I'm not sure if you guys remember that comment, if you guys remember that statement, but when I read this chapter title, God Valley Battle Royale, that pops into mind because one, you're literally using the phrase Battle Royale, but then two, I mean, it is a Battle Royale because we have the Celestials, we have the Marines, we have the Rocks Pirates, we have the Roger Pirates, we have a lot of different factions, a lot of different people arriving at this location to duke it out, right? So it's just something running through my head. But I do also want to point out, guys, that there has been many times throughout spoiler history, throughout One Piece history, where the leakers do not give proper translations in accordance to the titles of the chapter. This has happened many, many, many times. If you guys, to those of you, right, that read the official translations to the One Piece manga, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. We'll read the spoilers. We'll see the supposed title to the chapter. And then when the officials roll around, the title is completely different, like radically different. So it is something to think about. Maybe we take this chapter's title with a grain of salt. God bless Leon, Vincent, Johan, Eric, MD, Luffy. Thank God that you guys are here. Not trying to stay mainstream. I just want to be a little bit more organized so that we deliver better content. Let's get started, guys. Ogre Child Yamato's Golden Harvest Surrogate Pilgrimage Volume 44. The final part. Oh, glory to God. Glory to God. So we can finally say that this was the most useless cover story of all time. I mean, maybe I'm jumping the gun. Maybe what I'm about to read right now in the cover page is going to save the cover story. No, that's just cope. I highly doubt that. Pretty much nothing has really happened in this cover story. I still think that Oda should have done a cover story for Katakuri instead. We don't see Katakuri defending Whole Cake Island when the Blackbeard pirates storm in. We don't see Katakuri go after Blackbeard and Blackbeard's crew when they capture Pudding. We don't see Katakuri do anything when it comes to the Wano arc. And then we don't see Katakuri do anything when Big Mom gets sent flying from a volcano eruption. So I would much rather have a narrative, storyline behind Katakuri where we're actually seeing him do things because he's integral to the Big Mom pirates. I mean, you literally had a Big Mom come to Wano. Well, what happened to him then? We had Oda put out panels, being it was the cover story of the Blackbeard pirates invading Whole Cake Island. Well, where was Katakuri? So, and then on top of that, Oda went out of his way to show that the Big Mom pirates, obviously including Big Mom, they know about the Vivre cards. So are you telling me that Katakuri can't track his sister Pudding? Katakuri can't track his mom, Big Mom, the captain of the crew? I really don't get it. Oda should have just did a Katakuri cover story, but let's read this cover page. To Sir Luffy, another peaceful day passes in Wano Kuni. We see Yamato, Momonosuke, Kinemon, and Ulti enjoying a walk through the Fire Capital. Okay, so nothing then, nothing. This cover story was just Yamato walking around. Okay, cool. Yamato's enjoying and expressing this new freedom. I get it. Yamato has lived in a cellar for most of her life. Yamato never got to explore. She was caged. She was very sheltered. Now she gets to go out. She gets to explore her country. She gets to explore her land. I get that, but still, it doesn't really make this cover story that much more enjoyable. Nothing really has happened. We had weapons disappear, and then all of a sudden there's a hideout Yamato saves Ulti in page 1. They walk around. They go to a grave. Oh, wait. Apparently, Gekko Moria is a Kazuki. Like, okay, since when was he a Kazuki? That's so random. They keep walking, and now the cover story's over. It just didn't feel that rewarding. It just didn't feel that good. Yeah, I don't know, chat. What are your thoughts? Now that the cover story's said and done, was this worth 44 pages? I want a genuine response. I don't want people to hate on it just because I don't like it. I don't want people to be too pessimistic. Give a fair, balanced response. Do you guys feel that it's justified that this cover story is 44 pages? And don't be an Oda Angel either. Don't be too far left or too far right, unless I guess you genuinely feel that way. But don't be too far left where it's like, oh, it's so garbage. We should have had, I don't know, we should have saw Emu cover story. Or don't go too far right and be an Oda Angel where it's like, nothing Oda can do will be wrong. No, literally everything Oda has ever done was magnificent. It just feels like a waste of a cover story. There's been much better cover stories throughout One Piece. I liked Jinbei's cover story, his adventure, right? He had a cover story. I liked Ace's cover story. Of course, everyone likes NL's cover story. I liked Buggy had a cover story, right? Wasn't he one of the first? I think he might have been the first. I don't really see the value in this cover story at all. And Viswa, I see that Wano changed. They started to rebuild it. It just didn't feel really like it was worth it. Let's begin with the actual chapter, though. Chapter starts with Rayleigh carrying Shaki away to escape from God Valley. Shiki stopped other pirates from attacking Rayleigh since it may harm Shaki too. Okay. Newgate ordered all pirates to target the treasures instead, and we see pirates fighting all over the island. Garp discovered all the dead civilians and was shocked, so he called Sengoku to ask if he knew all along. Then we see that Rox managed to rescue Eris and Teach, and I believe Eris is Blackbeard's mom, right? Then we see that Rox managed to rescue Eris, the wife of Rox, aka the mother of Blackbeard, and Teach, and he was running away carrying them on his back. Okay, what a true Chad. They were being chased by Garling and other Knight of God, just say Holy Knights, and some demons accompanied them. Demons? Wait, demons? Wait, demons? Emu is summoning demons? Those demons were members of the Davy clan, including Rox's father and grandmother. The Davy clan were actual demons? Rox says, dang it, are those people immortal? Eris says, Zebek, let me down. Rox says, running is our only option right now. Those who got caught all turned into that form. They turned into that form. They got Domi Reversied. And I know that Dawn of Ascension was one of the first people telling me that Zebek was going to get Domi Reversied. I'm sure a lot of people have said that. But it's interesting. This is pretty close. I mean, Rox's family got Domi Reversied. That's pretty dark. Into that form. Just what is that exactly? Someone's power? Pops? Hag? What happened to you all? Suddenly, Eris jumped off Rox. She talked with Rox while she remembered Rox's father and mother. Eris says, Zebek, I am already a proud member of the Davy clan. Everyone here was so kind to me despite my past as a pirate. Oh, Blackbeard's mom was a pirate. Interesting. I understand the fate of this clan. The fate? Oh, another one. The fate of this clan. Wait. Does she know of some sort of prophecy? Does she know some sort of what's another word I'm looking for? Some sort of I can't think of the word. Does she know a prophecy about the Davy clan? Does she know some sort of fate, some sort of prediction, some sort of future sight? Which is why you need to let me down. If I lack even the ability to properly protect the child, if I, a woman who only knows to cling on to you, you wouldn't have fallen in love with me. Isn't that right? Zebek says, you idiot. Eris says, if the situation looks like we are to be captured, I will kill Teach and then myself. Let us both survive. See you in Lelucia, Zebek. Lelucia? Wait. Oda's throwing a lot of things at us right now. Destiny. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for, actually. Premonition's a good word, but I was looking for destiny. Wow. So Oda's throwing a lot of stuff at us really quickly in these spoilers. So, first of all, it's pretty dark and wild that Eris was willing to kill Teach and herself because she was so terrified of the Marines of the world government. That's actually dark. That reminds me of Wano. If you guys remember in Wano, the mom in one of the panels had the knife and she was crying, holding the knife to her baby because they were all starving. And it's interesting that they say, see you in Lelucia. And then it's kind of ironic that like 40 years later, Lelucia gets eradicated. Was Lelucia another hiding spot for D-Clan members? Interesting, because guys, we can't forget the narrative, guys. We have to stay sharp. We have to stay sharp. We have to stay precise. We need to speak precisely. We know that the reason that Lelucia was destroyed and eradicated was because Imu said it was the closest place that they could test out the supposed ancient weapon for them to test out this newly created Mother Flame. I don't want you guys to forget that. I need you guys to remember that. It wasn't like there was an ulterior motive. We saw how the Gorsei were talking amongst themselves about Mother Flame. Imu chimes in on the phone. Imu's like, yeah, choose Lelucia. They're like, why? Imu's like, because it's the closest. So then they started justifying it. Go back and read this, guys. They started justifying it. They're like, oh, well, we do need to test it. There might be people there. We could try it in a forest or in an ocean, but whatever. And then they were also going on to say, like, oh, how fate has it that Saba would be on Lelucia as well. Right, so the main concern about destroying Lelucia wasn't even because necessarily, like, yes, they were in rebellion from the world government. We know that much because they had ties to the Revolutionary Army. But the main concern seems to be like, oh, well, they were the closest island, so let's try to test Mother Flame on it. And I want to know what you guys think. I actually like that. I understand some people might not. They might want like this ulterior motive of chasing down Sabo, so they destroyed Lelucia, or maybe they wanted to get revenge on Lelucia for having a connection to the Revolutionary Army. I get all those positions, and it's not that they even dislike those positions, but I do like the idea again that Imu is so evil, Imu is so sadistic, so selfish, that the reason he had an entire island, namely Lelucia, destroyed is because he needed a convenient way to test out Mother Flame. Like, that shows his low regard for human life. And I think that's really telling, and it's very fitting for the Celestial Dragons. All right, cut to Linlin. Just after she stole the fish fruit, model Azure Dragon from Ivankov. Okay, so Big Mom steals Kaido's fruit from Ivankov. We can see Kuma helping some people with his new powers, based Kuma. Linlin was very happy with the fruit. Linlin says, the fish fruit, Katakuri shall have this. My future crew would need tremendous power. But suddenly, Kaido appeared behind Linlin and hit her in the face with his kanabo. Then Kaido ate the fruit immediately and transformed into a dragon, flying away from there. Yo, chat, is this W Kaido or is this L Kaido? Are we going to get some Widos in the chat or some Lidos in the chat? And, now this comes full circle as well. We obviously had those statements in the past where Big Mom kept telling Kaido, like, oh, see, you owed me. You owe me for your devil fruit. So all of us, we were pretty much waiting for this moment. It's not really a surprise. Obviously, like, oh, there's all these fruits on God Valley, and Kaido owes Big Mom because he got his fruit from her. Well, then he must have got the fruit from her on God Valley. So it's not even really surprising per se. But I do find it very funny that he attacks her, let alone in the face with a kanabo. And then he just flies away. Yo, it's like that meme where it's like, you could make a meme for this. How would you say it? You would say like, steals the dragon fruit, hits Big Mom in the face, doesn't explain. How does the meme go? Doesn't elaborate. Watch, someone's going to make a meme of this. Kaido hitting Big Mom, eats the fruit, flies away, doesn't elaborate. Cut again to Rocks. We see that he ended up killing all his relatives of the Davy clan. Wow. Cut again to Rocks. We see that he ended up killing all his relatives of the Davy clan. Wow. Wow. So how many bodies does Zebek have, man? This dude has killed so many people. Rock said that if they were going to kill him, of course he had to kill them all first. We all see that Garling's heavily injured, coughing blood after his fight with Rocks. Yeah, let's go, Zebek. I mean, this is pretty sad, you know. Zebek having to kill his own people, killing the Davy clan because they were Domi reversied. They were trying to kill him. It's pretty dark, man. Pretty dark. And I see you guys talking about Dressrosa. That's pretty interesting. Emu arrived at God Valley. Dude, what a banger of a chapter. We're still not even done with the spoilers. Oda's throwing he's throwing out all these bangers. Emu arrived at God Valley through Saturn's body at the end of the chapter. Saturn transformed into his Yuki form, and Emu, using the shadowy body that we all know, appeared on top of Saturn. Rock saw that terrifying creature and was ready to fight against it, but Newgate arrived and joined him. Rock says, Newgate, there's nothing to gain from this, you know. You still gonna help? Newgate says, don't sweat it. After all, I have been drinking on your tab all this time. Yo, Whitebeard is just such an awesome character. I can't get over how awesome of a character Whitebeard is, man. I'm glad to see all of you guys in chat. God bless all of you. I'm trying to stay on topic. New format, okay? Then in the final double page of the chapter, Dragon Kaido appeared flying in the sky and also joined Rocks and Newgate. Kaido says, hey, you guys, check this out. Whoa, I finally got an ability. I want to test this out more. Rock says, good for you. I think this is the happiest I've ever seen you, isn't it? Vo, ha, 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 ha. Newgate says, that's great and all, but can I ask you something? What the hell is that? Garp and Roger also noticed Emu's arrival. Marines and the world's government agents were in shock seeing Saturn's transformation. The Marines and agents say, St. Saturn, what is that form? Wow, it's a monster. Garp's worried and says, this has to all be a wild dream. What is going on this island? Roger, smiling, says, all hail the glorious days of adventure. I truly knew nothing. Yeah, you don't know anything. Chapter ends with Rocks very confident answering Newgate's question while Emu stared at them in the last panel. Rock says, what is that you asked? Let's see. I believe we're looking at the world. End of chapter.
This guy brought a nuke into the building.
Whitebeard is a real one. Let's go ahead, guys. Drop our ratings for the spoilers in the chat. I'm not going to lie. This chapter really hit the spot. It really struck a chord within me. I'm going to drop a 10 out of 10, and I haven't done that in a while. It's been a long time since I gave spoilers a 10 out of 10. There's a lot of juicy information here, guys. I'm very excited. I do have some notes that we're going to go through here in a moment, talking about all the implications that this has for the story, for the island, for the characters, and for the future of the narrative. What an awesome chapter, man. We had some dark moments. You know, Eris threatening to kill herself and Blackbeard, Zebek being forced to kill his people, Emu taking over Saturn. Pretty wild stuff. Let me see what you guys think, chat. I want to see everyone here drop a like on the stream. Drop a like on the stream, hit the noti bell so you don't miss future streams, and drop a rating in the chat. What do you feel about this chapter? Was it worth a break week? Because we had a break week, right? This is our chapter back from the break week. Or is the break week next week? I'm confused. All right, let's start and continue on with the show. First thing that I want to talk about, guys, in regards to this chapter. First thing that I want to know. First thing, I want to talk about the Davy clan, how the Davy clan's real and connected to Rocks and Emu. So, I mean, chat, after, the previous, give or take 5-10 chapters, it's abundantly clear that there's a Davy clan, and they seem to be ancient beings. Like, and I almost wonder if the Davy clan is possibly D clan members, because Zebek himself was a Davy clan member and he was a D. And we know that the D clan's treated as demons. Is it possible that the Davy clan were demons in the past, or the founder of the Davy clan was a demon? So maybe what the world government and the Celestials say is true, therefore muddying the waters? Because we've been led to believe that no. The D clan aren't demons. They're the good guys. It's actually the Celestials that are demons. But is it possible that the Davy clan, maybe they were bad guys in the past? Maybe the Davy clan, the D clan, maybe they had demons. Maybe they had bad people, evil spirits. But then also the Celestial Dragons also had evil spirits. Is that possible? And when we see in 1162, these spoilers right here, we see how they get Domi reversing and they get turned into demons. Maybe that's foreshadowing how their founder was a demon. Maybe that was foreshadowing how the Davy clan members used to be demons. And one other thing that I think is interesting is that we've always known about the Davy back fight, right? And they say that, the Davy back fight originated from Davy Jones. But wait a second, there's a Davy clan, though. So was there a member in the Davy clan that was named Davy Jones? And maybe we don't know him as Davy D Jones because the D was erased. Maybe that's a possible narrative, a possible idea that we could tie ourselves into. But moreover, more specifically for the Davy clan, or I'm sorry, the Davy back fight, guys, is that we also see a game being taken place with the Davy clan here on God Valley. Isn't that right? How interesting that Oda's doing that. There's a Davy back fight in One Piece where it's like a pirate game. Then we go to this God Valley flashback and there's a Davy clan apparently. And the Celestial Dragons are having a hunting game. They're playing a game with the Davy clan and the other people here on God Valley. So how interesting is it? There's a Davy clan, the Davy back fight, which is a game, and then the God Valley eradication, which is a game. I don't know. Pretty interesting. Something to think about. Now, I just also want to point out again, Rock's killing his own family, guys. Very dark, evil stuff. It's pretty sad that he was pushed to that limit. They were threatening to kill him because they were possessed. They were demonically possessed by Emu, who is in fact Satan. I will die on this hill. I'll be shocked if Emu is not a representation of Satan in the plot. But this just goes to show Rox's level of radicalism. This shows his level of rebellion. This shows his extremism to the point where, he goes and he opposes the world government. He walks up to Emu. He kills a Marine, an admiral. He's killing his own people. He's a very extreme guy. But notice how there was always propaganda about Roxy Zebek, chat. And not only Roxy Zebek, all throughout the One Piece narrative, guys. All throughout the One Piece narrative, the people who control the news cycle, the people who control the media, the people who control the history are pumping out propaganda. Guys, do you honestly believe that Oda, he just makes that up? Do you honestly think that, Oda never thought I wonder if the real world is lying to us? Do people actually believe that? I highly doubt that's the case. Oda wants to put this concept of the powers that be pumping propaganda, being propagandists, controlling the narrative, having characters like Doflamingo saying that the victors of war are the ones who decide history, simply because Oda himself, he sees this in the real world. Oda wants to put these important, deep messages in his goofy pirate manga to teach the readers a lesson. He wants people to walk away from One Piece crying because it was so sad, laughing because it was so funny, excited because it was so hype, but then also so intrigued because this makes us question the real world. It makes us question the elites. It makes us question history. Next thing I want to talk about is Eris, right? The mother of Blackbeard, which would be the wife, I guess wife, maybe mistress. I don't know. We'll just say wife, right? The mother of Blackbeard, the wife of Roxy Zebek, Eris. Now, I do find it interesting, guys, that in these spoilers, what do we see? Eris is confirmed to be a Davy clan member. Pretty cool stuff, pretty awesome stuff. So Blackbeard is through and through Davy. So now this brings into question, okay, well, why is his name Marshall D. Teach? Was Blackbeard adopted by someone? Was Blackbeard adopted by an important figure? Or is Oda going to take the route where, no, Blackbeard just took up a random name to hide his identity. He didn't even know someone named Marshall, a family named Marshall. So this is interesting, chat. I want to see your thoughts. I want to see what you guys have to say. Again, Roxy Zebek was a Davy clan member, and now Eris was a Davy clan member. So where did this name of Marshall originate from? What I was thinking prior to 1162, prior to these spoilers, is that perhaps it's the case that maybe Eris was a Marshall. But I don't think that's the case anymore. They're calling her a Davy clan member. So Davy, maybe she was a D clan member as well. Davy D. Eris, Davy D. Zebek, having Davy D. Teach. Where did the name Marshall come from? God bless Jay. God bless Johan. God bless everyone here. God bless Fifth. I'll go through the chat here in a bit. Very interesting stuff. Again, it's very dark, pretty dark stuff that, she was pushed to such a degree, pushed to such a limit where she was considering killing her own offspring just so that the Marines and the world government wouldn't kill them. Pretty dark, sad stuff. And again, we see this in Wano where mothers are holding knives to their babies because of the starvation, because of the famine. Now, we still need to consider as well, guys. We since Marineford War, we've known that Blackbeard has a strange body. Blackbeard has a different body. He has a weird body. And perhaps Marco never truly understood why he has a weird body. Hence, he never explained why he has a weird body. All Marco ever really said is, oh, Blackbeard has a weird body. So what is the reason for Blackbeard having a weird body? I've been thinking for over a year now, that maybe that's because of his lineage. Maybe that's because of his bloodline. Saturn was telling us Blackbeard comes from an important special bloodline. But does that have to mean only because of his father? How do we not know that's not because of his DNA? His grandparents, his great-grandparents, his body type, his blood, his DNA. We see other races in One Piece that are special, these different groups, factions in the One Piece world, all differentiating from each other. Why? Because of their DNA. So now in this chapter where we see that Eris is a D clan member, a Davy clan member, maybe the fact that Roxy Zebek and Davy Eris came together, they produced this child with a weird body because they're from the Davy clan. Blackbeard is a pureblood. I don't know. Good point, Vincent. I remember people pointing that out, the Eris D-Tar thing. I remember that. You pissed me off saying Emu's a man, but your view on One Piece being a mirror to IRL makes up for it. God bless, bro. All right, guys, next point. I want to talk about the God Valley incident as a whole. Now, chat, it's becoming abundantly clear, I'm pretty sure we would all agree on this, that God Valley is not simply like, the good guys versus the bad guys. Chat, it's not that simple. In fact, I would argue it's almost never that simple within the narrative of the plot. Within the narrative, it is never as simple as black and white, good guy, bad guy. There's a lot of moving pieces. There's a lot of people with different ambitions, even within a faction. You'll see a faction in One Piece. You'll see a group, a militia in One Piece that have different ideals, that have different intentions. And I think that's part of the reason that makes One Piece so fascinating, that makes One Piece such a unique, deep story, that all these characters, like the story feels alive. You know, every character, they have their own dream, they have their own ambition, they have their own way of talking, how they look, how they act, what they desire, all of these unique people. But this goes deeper. This goes deeper, and I want to be specific towards the God Valley incident as a whole. What do I mean by that? In God Valley, what do we see, chat? The Knights of God, demons, Emu. Even though Emu's controlling through Saturn. What are we seeing? These divine, infernal entities. Isn't that interesting, guys? Isn't that interesting? We're seeing these divine, infernal entities acting through human vessels. The Holy Knights, or the Knights of God. Right? The demons, which are being controlled because they were possessed, Domi Reversied. Then we got Saturn being possessed. Right? Emu, which has a lot of ontological, maybe not ontological, but a lot of ties to Satan. We're seeing like this divine motif, this spiritual battle, this spiritual war in the plot. And I think this is very interesting, giving God Valley a lot more depth than what we originally thought. You know, back in the past, during Wano, during Egghead, a lot of us probably would have thought like, hey, God Valley, you know, is just Garp, Roger, and Zebek duking it out. No, it's a lot deeper than that. And I like how, you know, as we progress further and further into the One Piece storyline, we're seeing more of this cosmic influence. We're seeing more of this spiritual, almost religious influence on the story. It's not as simple as like pirate versus marine. There's a lot more depth to it. And sure, like, don't get me wrong, like, Roxy Zebek is a pirate. Roger was a pirate. Garp is a marine, but it's a lot deeper than that. And especially another thing I forgot to point out, the celestial dragons. So you got the Knights of God, demons, celestials. A lot of interesting things going on here. And yeah, just Garp and Roger witnessing all of this. Another big reason why they had to destroy God Valley, why they had to erase God Valley from people's minds. They can't let people know and have this information get out on what really took place on God Valley. Just like in real life, a lot of these events, a lot of these things going on, even in 2025, have to get silenced. They have to get erased to maintain the narrative. People don't want the elites in One Piece, the elites in real life don't like divine interference. That's a part of the reason, that's one of the reasons that they want to silence Jesus Christ. They don't want you to know about divine interference. They'll tell you, go to that religion, go to this religion, believe in this, believe in that. But then when it comes time to talk about Christianity, oh, no, you can't go there. They don't want the true divine interference reaching people's minds. You also have Garp being shocked, right? We see in these spoilers, Garp shocked. He's questioning, hey, is there a massacre going on? Is there a genocide going on? Which, if you guys correct me if I'm wrong, is this not insinuating that there was massacres before Rox intervened? Because it seems to be the case. Maybe you guys can look at the timeline. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But the massacres were already taking place before Zebek arrived, and then they're continuing. The whole God Valley incident was just a genocide. And it's shocking that Garp still remained a Marine. You still remained a Marine. I get it. You want to be a Marine because there's a lot of bad pirates, but look at who you're serving. Look at who you're serving. You work for the Celestial Dragons. You work for the world government. You work for Emu. You literally work for the devil. Even your son Dragon rebelled and left the Marines. But what do you do, Garp? You remain in the Marines. You remain there serving as a dog. No wonder you sail on a Marine ship with a dog on the front, because you're a dog. No wonder you walk around pre-time skip with a dog hat. Why? Because you're a dog of the Celestial Dragons. Just like how the USA is a dog of Israel. It's no different. Marine Ford is to USA and Dressrosa as well, as Israel is to Marijoa. Just slaves. You're really just slaves serving these people who think that they are the God's chosen people, that they can't be touched, they can't be questioned. You're nothing compared to them. They reject the Messiah. But I digress. Let's now talk about Roxy Zebek as a character, chat. Roxy Zebek, not a simple villain. Agree or disagree, chat? One's in chat if you agree. Two's in chat if you disagree. Roxy Zebek is not a simple villain, and I think a lot of people would argue that he wasn't even a villain. But just stick to the question for now. Roxy Zebek, or I guess it wasn't a question, it was more of a statement, but Roxy Zebek was not a simple villain. This is not a simple guy. I could see a universe where Roxy Zebek actually just allowed his people to attack him, and he just took the hits, you know? Like how in Marineford, Whitebeard was willingly stabbed. But what does Roxy Zebek do instead? Roxy Zebek goes out and kills his people. We see Roxy Zebek rescuing his wife. We see Roxy Zebek rescuing his son. We see how he's shocked at what happened to his people. We see his final stand with Whitebeard. We see how his end is basically a tragic rebel. He wasn't a madman. And what does the world government tell you? What does the world government tell you? What do the Marines tell you? What does Sengoku tell you? Oh no, Roxy Zebek, he was going into taboo history. He was a bad guy, evil guy, had to be erased. Madman. No, he was a tragic rebel. He was a fallen, maybe you could say he was a fallen hero. In chat, let me tell you, one of the most villainous, so-called villainous people in human history, same case. Whole bunch of lies about him, whole bunch of propaganda about him. The moment you start going against the mainstream narrative, all of a sudden you need to be debanked. You need to lose your job. You need to have your social media accounts deleted. You need to be pretty much thrown in jail because you're not buying into the mainstream narrative. You're not buying that this leader was actually trying to kill everybody. And we see how even Roxy Zebek, again, tying back to how I'm saying he's not a simple villain, we see how he's self-aware. We see how he's aware to the One Piece world. He's aware. He's a thinker. Roxy Zebek is not a simple garp. Oh, I got to go fight these people. They're bad. Roxy Zebek is not Luffy, chat. What is his final line in these spoilers? We are looking at the world. Who did Roxy Zebek meet in Marijoa? Emu. Roxy Zebek had the knowledge of this bigger tyrannical evil entity within the One Piece world that most characters are not even tapping into. Law's not tapping into Emu and the world government. The Kid Pirates are not doing it. The Red Hair Pirates we have not seen do it. The Whitebeard Pirates did not do it. The Roger Pirates did not do it. How many factions in One Piece are actually rebelling against Marijoa and Emu? Revolutionary Army, that's it? And of course, I would agree with the notion that the Straw Hat Pirates will fight against Emu. They'll fight against Marijoa. But there's not that many factions. There's not that many crews that are willing to do this or even speak up. But Roxy Zebek, he had this knowledge. And final thing I'll say about Roxy Zebek as a character is that we can see more and more and more and more. Oda is positioning Zebek as a prototype for Luffy's world, or for Luffy's character. Let me say that one more time. Oda is positioning Roxy Zebek as a prototype for Luffy's character. Why? Because Zebek was the one challenging the world itself. This goes back to Enies Lobby. This goes back to Enies Lobby. Luffy was shooting the world government flag, declaring war on the world government. 170 nations under the world government flag. Luffy's going to be declaring war against the world. He's going to be challenging the world. You know, there's a famous quote, there's a famous saying. I don't remember which saint said it, but maybe it's even in the Gospels, worded in a different way. But it goes like, if the world is against Christ, then I'm against the world. We're not called to be in the world. We're not called to be worldly. Our true home, our true kingdom is not of this world. We're here to challenge the world. Moving on to, let's see, what's the next topic I want to talk about? Again, you know, Emu controlling people. Obviously, we saw Emu control Gunko earlier in this arc. Right? Emu acting as a parasite. Emu's parasitic control grows deeper. This is actually something I wasn't really considering that much when I was, you know, thinking about God Valley. I thought like, okay, maybe Emu was Domi reversing Zebek. You know, it makes sense that Emu Domi reversing the Davy clan members, but I never thought that like, oh, we're gonna see another possession. You know, in the sense of how Gunko was possessed this time through Saturn. So pretty interesting. Saturn going into his Gyuki form. Again, this yokai-inspired biology. Still making me wonder, are the Gorosei members, does the Gorosei have Zoan fruits? Do they have mythical Zoans? Do they have a new type of Zoan fruit? I want to know what you guys think, chat. I want to know what you guys think. Another thing, right? The alliance of Zebek, Whitebeard, and Kaido against Emu, that was the first Yonko scale cooperation. This is the moment, or this moment unites the future Emperor archetypes. In my opinion, I think like this might have been the creation of the Yonko system from this point on, or maybe shortly after the God Valley incident, maybe like 5-10 years later. This was the creation of the Yonko archetype, the Yonko system. And it's interesting because these guys are teaming up against Emu, which makes sense when you think about the purpose of Yonko. The role of emperors in the One Piece story. But yeah, this chapter is also reframing the God Valley incident. Again, this God Valley incident is not simply pirates versus celestials. It's the world's most powerful beings fighting the ruling God. That's pretty much what it is. Because who started this problem in the first place? Who started this? The Holy Knights. Okay, but who controls the Holy Knights? The Jews. I mean, the Celestial Dragons, Emu. And now they got to erase it and treat all of this like a myth. Treat all of this like a myth. We're not allowed to question any of this. Pretty much the kind of stuff that we see in real life. I think that's about it from me in terms of what I wanted to say all about this chapter. We can move on more towards the chat right now. Any donations that roll in, any super chats that pop in. We're going to now move the show to the chat. If there's anything you guys want to ask, comment, share, theorize, feel free to post right now. I'm interested to see what you guys have to say. Hope you guys enjoyed, you know, staying very direct. Hope you guys enjoyed allowing me to go deep into the points that I wanted to address and make. Yeah, let me see what you guys have to say in chat now. I'm curious. I was kind of skimming through the chat here and there. I was reading most of it, but yeah. Katakuri would have been unstoppable with the fish fruit. I don't know. Do we think Katakuri would Katakuri have been stronger than Kaido if okay, who would be stronger? Let me just ask this way. Who would be stronger? Katakuri with the Kaido fruit, with the fish fruit, or Kaido with the fish fruit? I feel like it would be Kaido, right? Like if you took non-fruit Katakuri versus non-fruit Kaido, wouldn't Kaido win? When is your vid with DOA coming? DOA doesn't. Yo, DOA. That's so funny. It's like I always think of death or dead on arrival. I don't know when that's coming, bro. We got to work on what was the video? We were working on a video.
What?
I think it was like Zebek or something. There's a Blackbeard. That it needs to be sharpened. We ran into some hiccups. The theory video of the two fruits Zebek was talking about. Oh, no. I wasn't working on anything like that. I'm still unsure exactly what the two fruits were. I don't know. All I could really say about that I feel comfortable sharing is that I think Loki ate the fruit of Elbaf. I would say that much. I think Loki ate the fruit that was saved on Elbaf. Because we see how Shanks fought Loki in the past. All the giants of the Elbaf country fought Loki. I think all of these people would have realized if Loki had a devil fruit or not. But here's the thing. They all were saying that Loki did have a fruit. That Loki stole the fruit. So what's my point? My point is that I think Loki did eat the fruit that was being saved on God Valley. Have you watched the 3-hour documentary on Masonic and Esoteric Architecture from 2010? Dude, that sounds so specific. I have not watched that. You should link me that, though. Link me that on Twitter or Instagram or Discord. I want to watch that. That's actually interesting. Lately I've been wanting to dive deeper into Freemasonry. I only know like basics. I want to dive deeper. Shout out to L with the $5 dono. God bless you, bro. Thank you, man. Y'all finna switch up on Garp like y'all did with Dragon. Mark my words, the monkey family are filled with goats. Look, man, thank you for the super chat. God bless you, bro. My thing is like, I don't like seeing this guy serve the most evil faction. Garp is like no different than like Trump. Just serving Marijoa, serving the Celestials, being their dog. I don't like it, man. I really don't. And, you know, this chapter doesn't do Garp justice, man. This chapter is not doing Garp justice because look at what happened. Garp witnessed a massacre and he's like, yeah, I'm going to stay in the Marines, though. Surely Garp also heard about O'Hara, too, right? Since you think Oda writes everything he believes in real life in One Piece, do you think Oda believes in black magic / satanic rituals? I would ask, by the way, L, thank you for that super chat, bro. I mean, I like Garp as a character. I love Garp as a character. I think Garp is a great character. I like to talk about the things that make characters look bad. Like, I love Sanji as a character, but I want to make fun of Sanji sometimes. I love Luffy as a main character, as a protagonist. I'm gonna make fun of Luffy though. You know, I think Garp's great, but I gotta contest him serving the Celestials for as long as he did. But going back to this, since you think Oda writes everything he believes in real life in One Piece, do you think Oda believes in black magic / satanic rituals? So, yes, and I would. There's two ways that I would answer this. Yes, and what do you mean by believe? Because Oda could have something known in real life and apply it to One Piece, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he believes in it or he worships it. Chapters out, check Discord. Yeah, bro, it's pretty sad. I was actually thinking about not even doing this stream because, hold on, I'm getting sidetracked. I was thinking about not doing this stream because this stream for Long Summary should have taken place yesterday. And also, of course, the chapter has to release early to screw me over like this. But hold on, I got to go back to this. I'm getting sidetracked. I would ask you what you mean by believe. Like, Oda applied Icarus and Daedalus to One Piece. Do you think he believes that was actually a real thing? Like, does he actually like think about that from day to day? Maybe. Probably not. I don't know. I would say at the least he knows of these things. That's always been my position too. That's always been my argument. Just because Oda applies something to One Piece doesn't mean he believes in it or he loves it or he supports it. You know, it's like One Piece has genocide, like real life. Does that mean Oda believes in genocide? No, of course not. He's just taking exactly what Dean said. He's incorporating existing concepts into his work. That's exactly my position. So I hope that answers your question. I think most people have heard of black magic before. That's not really like an unknown thing, right? I'm pretty sure like most people have heard of that. I'm pretty sure everyone here in this chat has heard the phrase black magic before. And it only takes a 10-second Google search to go learn about it. Maybe not to the deepest extent, obviously, but so far, the black magic we see in One Piece, what I think is black magic, is actually pretty surface level, albeit we haven't seen the true source and workings of it. But the satanic rituals, yeah, that's also, I mean, in real life, right? The satanic rituals, SRA, if you know about that, that's becoming a very mainstream thing. A lot of people are learning about that and looking into that. It's very dark. You know, like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, when I was looking into that, watching documentary after documentary every single day, every day I would watch like 3 hour, 4 hour, 5 hour long documentaries with my wife. We were learning all these crazy things. And that actually made me question the world and made me question God and religion. And I started looking at Christianity because of it. And yeah, Kabbalah, yeah. It's Jewish mysticism. Kabbalah is very dark. Kabbalah is not good. Everyone should avoid it. I have a book on Freemasonry symbolism called The Secret Teachings of All Ages, so I'm interested in stuff like that. I mean, it's not really wrong to have a book, you know? I'm interested in reading those books. I just hope that you don't fall into that stuff and start believing in it. And I don't know, what's the word? Doing it, I guess. Obviously, I would want what's best for you because I love you and I love the chat. Love my friends, love my supporters. I don't necessarily think there's anything wrong with having the book. But yeah, those guys, they definitely believe some crazy stuff. It's also always an attack on Christianity. Even the Castilian ancestors of evil are the Jewish religion. Yeah, right. Yo, I've explained this numerous times. My DNA literally goes to Catholic Spain. And that's just a fact. My DNA, even more recently, goes to Catholic Mexico. It could be easy to fall into. Yeah, man. All the dark stuff, you know, like these so-called spirituality things and this mysticism and, you know, all of these things that try to tap you into the universe and spirits. A lot of stuff comes off very interesting and very fascinating and sometimes even convincing. There's obviously holes in it, but I think when we get very fascinated into that stuff, we fall right into it. And next thing we know, we're not really aligning ourselves with God. Spanish people have Jewish connections? Bro, at this rate, everyone has a Jewish connection. Fujitora could be the sword leader. But I see him outrightly oppose M. So I don't know. Wait, you see him oppose sword? I feel like Garp might be secretly opposing them with sword. Yeah, I like the idea that Garp is the leader of sword, because if you think about it, Kobe and Helmeppo are members of sword who just so conveniently happen to be people trained by Garp. Interesting. And I guess someone could posit the argument, oh, well, Hina, was she trained by Garp? Because she's a member of Sword. What about Prince Gru? To that, I would say fair enough, but I don't know. I still think it's, knowing Oda's writing, you know, how he does things, I think it is pretty interesting that, again, Helmeppo and Kobe just so happen to be members of Sword. How convenient, you know? You are Jewish throughout your Castilian ancestors. It's real. Dude, it's not, man. You're going to make me go pull up the Castilian Spanish Wikipedia page? How do you even know I'm Castilian Spanish anyways? I could see Sword eventually break away from the world government with Kuzan as fleet admiral. When? I think like the One Piece plot is running out of time, man. Name of documentary, Secret in Plain Sight, episode 1, 2010. Oh, I gotta write that down. Yo, thank you for sending me that, bro. Let me write that down. Yo, L, shut up, dude. L, I'm sick of you, man. I'm sick of you. Secret in Plain Sight, episode 1, 2010. Is that available on like Internet Archive or something? Plot twist. Yo, what's good, Jordan? Plot twist. Akainu is the leader of Sword, and that's why Hibari is a member via nepotism. That would be a plot twist. I mean, you're right. It would be a plot twist because I don't think Akainu would be the leader of Sword. I feel like there's much better candidates. Either Garp or Kuzan. You know, even Kuzan works because it's like Kuzan had a close relationship with Garp. So Kuzan could have been like, hey, Kobe. Hey, Helmeppo. You want to join this secret group? Maybe even Garp and Kuzan created Sword. Isn't one of the girls in Sword supposed to be Akainu or Akainu's daughter or something? Yeah, Hina. It's because in the Japanese, Hina speaks in the same way that Akainu speaks, but it doesn't get picked up in English. So English readers, they wouldn't know this at all. A lot of the Japanese fans have picked up on it. Watch Oda try to redeem Akainu's character, which would be annoying as an Ace fan. I mean, see, that's why we have to have a little nuance sometimes, because even if Akainu had a tragic backstory, I don't think that justifies what he did to Ace. My home state is Jewish. Do you think everything is Jewish, bro? You're worse than me, man. Kuzan, the iceberg of the Titanic. Yeah, I've always loved that. What's good, Amuni? I've always loved that. Kuzan being the iceberg to the Titanic. You know what? I hate to say this, though. That feels like one of those things that's so cool and clever that Oda probably didn't think of it. Akainu only redeemed after opening bakery and giving all pirates free donuts for life. Dude, that would just be spitting on the legacy of Ace. That's not nice. Do you think Luffy would stand for that? Luffy would wage war on Akainu for that. I was being cheap the other day and felt Jewish. So oh my gosh, I shouldn't have read that out loud. Where's yours? All right, chat, let's get back to the chapter. Anything else you guys want to say regarding this chapter? I need to know. What else do you guys have to say about 1162? Akainu only... Okay, I read that one. Kuzan isn't with sword. Why not, though? As soon as Kuzan stabs or backstabs Blackbeard, yeah. Kuzan backstabs Blackbeard, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, I'm the leader of Sword." I could see that being a future finisher for Kuzan, Titanic Glacier. Kuzan's a really cool character. I like Kuzan. Especially when Kuzan was looking out for the Straw Hats, looking out for Robin. He saved her life at Ohara. Then he also spared her at the end of Eni's lobby, if you guys remember any post Eni's lobby. Kuzan is awesome. Do we have any other Kuzan enjoyers in the chat? Any other Kuzan enjoyers? Support the tweet, boys. Support the tweet. Let them know. Support the tweet, guys. Link is in the chat. Link is in the chat. Evil, as someone who has been there since your first streams, keep it up, man. Shout out to you, OP News 2025. Thanks, man. Wait, is this OP Fanatic's other page? They're followed by One Piece Fanatic, and it's OP News 2025. Is this OP Fanatic? I spoke on Palestine when it cost me support. I was mocked and bashed. Others waited years until it was safe and profitable. Influence demands conscience. Truth must come before discomfort, fear, or gain. And I say this humbly. God knows how deeply flawed I am. Well, chat, I mean, at least people now are speaking about Palestine. You know? At least now people are speaking on it. Better late than never. King J, God bless, man. Feels good to see Blackbeard's poppy, neg diff Shanks' poppy. Yo, now it's time for Shanks to die to Blackbeard. You don't believe us? That's all. The presence of Jews in Castile and Leon is known from the 10th century. Over the next 2 centuries, sovereigns granted Jews the same rights and duties as Christians. Yeah, but that doesn't make you Jewish, though. You could say, like, Jews, there are Jews in America, so therefore you're Jewish. That's not how it works. Also, do you see how I look, bro? I'm definitely Mexican and Spanish. God is good, chat. Yo, shout out to PB and J. God bless, bro. B Dog. God bless. Miguel. God bless. Kuzan's a buster. How's he a buster? Evil, as someone who hasn't been here since the beginning, don't keep it up. That has been going on for a long time, nearly since the start. Wait, what do you mean? Dude, the Palestinians are literally more Jewish than modern. Yeah, I mean, when your DNA traces to Poland and Eastern Europe, I don't really think you're Middle Eastern anymore. Kuzan is definitely a spy for Emu. If you go all the way to chapter 699, page 5, you'll see something. Yo, you got to tell me what that is, bro. That's I've never heard that before. Kuzan being a spy for Emu. Yo, I feel like it's the opposite. Did you see the news of Mexico banning the actual picture of their president? Yeah, I do remember that. You know, it's crazy because Mexico is like literally like 86% Catholic. And then the Jewish population is like, what, 2% or something like that? And then they get a Jewish president. Color me surprised. And now Mexico's president, a woman, is trying to ban memes that discredit and mock politicians. So cringe, bro. So cringe. Like, shouldn't you be taking care of like the civil war you're having? Like, Mexico is bro, it's like a third world country and you're too busy banning memes? Really? Like, dude, the cartel is running your country. Why are you busy trying to deal with memes? I don't get that. She's definitely co-opted. I'm not going to lie. There has been extensive talk about the topic nearly since the start. No, but you're just repeating yourself. I don't know what you're referring to. I'm going to edit evil to that pic thanks to the idea. L, you're not funny, dude. You're not funny. You're not cute. You're cringe. You're unbased. You're despicable. Jin Marks, God bless. How we doing? How are we doing? Chat, I'm trying to get over this cold, man. I got a stuffy nose. Politicians love to solve easy problems while sleeping on the hard, painful things. Yeah, they'll make all the promises to get your vote. And then as soon as they get your vote, it's back to serving who really control the country and the world. Because you asked, you said you were the first to talk about Gaza, which is just baffling. I didn't say I was the first. I said that I spoke on it. And secondly, the people that have been watching this channel for at least 2 years know that when I was first speaking on it, it was just nothing but anger from a lot of dudes. It's probably like, I would say it was like maybe 30% of the people agreed, and then 70% were just angry. People saying that like One Piece has nothing to do with real life. Oda doesn't care about politics. Oh, the Palestinians are the bad guys. He is right. Jesus was born in Palestine, and Israel actually means the land of the gods. The house of Mary was seen in Palestine. Israel isn't even a land. It's supposed to be the church. This is the type of heresies that Protestantism serves you on a platter. That's how I feel about Trump with Epstein files. I wanted him in because I thought he'd release them. I'll put on the clown mask. Yeah, you got to put on the fooled again badge. Fooled again. Where are you at on D equals Davy? Oh, I don't think that really makes much sense. I think it'd be weird. Like Davy Zebek, Davy Blackbeard. This seems weird. I think Davy. I'm sorry, the D. I think the D. It's a symbol. Yes, it's a symbol, and it stands for something, but it's not a what's the word? It's not a chat. What do you call it when a letter stands for an acronym? I think that the D clan, the D, it stands for something, but it's not an acronym. What it stands for is a half moon, because humans and the people from the moon, which we know they came down, they mingled, and that was the D clan, the people that were half moon. And I don't think it stands for demon, dream, destiny, like all these random vague things. I think it stands as a symbol of a half moon. And I think more specifically, the D clan members were the followers of Nika and Joy Boy. The reason why they hate the D clan and they paint them as demons and want to erase the D clan is because the D clan were the followers of Nika and Joy Boy, the Messiah, the Jesus Christ. Just like how the people that followed Jesus were hunted down and persecuted and killed and treated as demons and idolaters and pagans and all types of stuff. So I think like the One Piece world is like a similar concept where Joy Boy is basically a messianic title. This figure of Joy Boy lived on Earth. He had the powers of a god. He will come back to save and liberate the world, which is exactly what we see with Luffy being Joy Boy. Joy Boy has returned and he's going to liberate the world. We even see how Kuma's dad literally says Joy Boy is coming back. Kuma prays at a church to a cross. It honestly couldn't be any more obvious, but that's what I think it really is. The D clan are the D clan were the followers of Nika, basically. So like the ancestors of Blackbeard, they were following Nika. I don't know how long ago, maybe 50 years ago, 100 years ago, 200 years ago. Well, to say that the current story would be about that is a stretch. It's more like accidental application of themes, which are more universal. Oh, yeah, totally, dude. It's just a complete coincidence that there's a genocide of native dark-skinned people for the land of people that own it and that are the gods of the world. Like, yeah, definitely, dude. Controlling the banks, controlling the narrative. No, it's just all a coincidence. D is a boat symbol. Oh, that's cool. I never thought of that. D's are reborn like Shirahoshi. That'd be a lot of reborn people, bro. Did it evolve into something that could be inherited by people that weren't originally D? That's a good question, because do you remember how not too long ago we had an ASL flashback where Luffy, Sabo, and Ace were sitting together, and Luffy was telling Ace, or Luffy was asking Ace, like, hey, why do you have a D in your name? And then they were like, hey, Sabo, you could be a D clan member. Sa-D-Bo. I think like that was an implication that the D was given to people without without passing it on downwards to your child. So that works with what I'm saying, where it was like the D clan were essentially followers of Nika, followers of Joy Boy. I think it'll be similar to the Holy Trinity. Probably not the exact same thing. Nika and Joy Boy aren't the same. Just a clarification. It's like Nika is Ashura and Joy Boy's Hashirama, but inherited will, not reincarnation. Well, I would have to ask what you mean by aren't the same, because we see in Vegapunk's broadcast, he was saying that just like the legend of Nika from Elbaf, Joy Boy can stretch and contract. So he's clearly tying Nika and Joy Boy together. I'm not ignoring your comments. I'm trying my best to read everything. Have you seen the hypocrisy of the Americans? Brad Pitt and Joaquin Phoenix are going to make a film about Palestine. I don't know if it's good. All right, I don't know what to think if it's good. Yeah, I'm curious and interested to see what that's gonna be about, because you know, a lot of celebrities and powerful people, rich people, famous people, they don't touch the topic because their handlers will get mad at them for that, because we know who their handlers are. It's always the same people who have to argue for Zionism. Take a wild guess. I'll give you a hint. This group of people, over 90% of them support Zionism. Who could that group possibly be? So, yeah, they're probably trying to do it to save face, or maybe they're doing it in good faith. I don't know. I'll have to see. Nika is OG. Did Eris die in La Lucia? She probably died on God Valley. But, I mean, that's just a guess. Do you think Eris could have been a part of a Davy back fight? I mean, it's possible. Yeah, it's possible. I can't think of anything that prevents that. But I would want strong reasoning for why I would believe that, you know? Does that make sense? Yes, it's possible, but I want you to prove to me why. I almost feel like God Valley was just chilling, bro. I almost feel like God Valley was just peaceful. They had the D clan, everyone got along. Like the God Valley was cool. They were living their life. They were the Davy clan. They were all good. And then the Celestials showed up, and like how they always do, they show up and just ruin the country. Crazy how we back up Israel when our country is mainly Christian. SMH system is rigged. Yeah, again, it's because the people that are running the show, they are the Jays. They are also backstabbers that debase themselves for Jayish votes. That's what it is. And the thing is, the thing that people need to understand is we have names and faces. It's not that we just say like, oh, this one thing's controlled by Jays because we say so. Like, no. We could look at we could see who the founder of that organization is and read his early life. We could look at who the CEO is and read his early life. We can look at a politician and see what school he went to. All the information is out there. And most of the time it's on Wikipedia, bro. Which, I mean, yes, people could edit Wikipedia, but it doesn't even take long to find this information down or track this information down. But that's pretty much what it is. It's pretty much what it is. People debase themselves for votes from the Jays. People backstab the interests of their own Christian nation for the Jays. Yeah, bro. I agree. Please focus on the chapter. Is that your way of saying to only read your messages? Because I'm responding to people in chat. Technology is unraveling it all. Dude, I used to see people say, there's someone watching the stream is going to get so mad. I'm sorry in advance. I used to see people say that the internet was the worst thing to happen to Islam. And I think like it's the same thing for Judaism. I can give 400 billion reasons why they keep control of American politics to keep the gravy train coming or running. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of reasons, but it's always going to serve the same people over and over again. If Eris is so strong, why can't she live alone? It seems like she did live alone. That dude Zebek was just sailing the seas all day long. If Joy Boy is Jesus, does that mean Laughtail is the Garden of Eden? Huh. Maybe that means Laughtail is Jerusalem. New theory, guys. Laughtail is Jerusalem. Oh no, chat. Yo, Laughtail has a synagogue. Nah, bro. Laughtail is the Vatican. Yeah, El, I did see that. I can see the Zebek dying at the hands of his own wife was turned into a demon or surviving until Uranus is used. Oh, you think Zebek died to his own wife? Yo. Zebek didn't have the heart to kill his wife, and his wife killed him. Yo, I like that. Shout out to Vincent. That's actually crazy. That's very sad, very dark, but I like that. That's wild, dude. I like that. And then they used Uranus. They used Uranus. Uranus ran out of fuel, and then later on they got more fuel from Vegapunk. But again, I need to remind you guys that when Vegapunk went and gathered Mother Flame and created Mother Flame, he did that behind the world government's back. And they stole Mother Flame on top of that, right? I always want to remind you guys that. So it's not like the world government employed Vegapunk to make Mother Flame. That seems to not be the case. Vegapunk went behind their back. He started researching the Void Century. He started reading poneglyphs. He started reading the books on Elbaf. He made Mother Flame in secrecy. They figured it out. They hunted him down. They wanted to kill him. They even stole part of Mother Flame, and then they powered up Uranus. So, I mean, that's just something to consider when we talk about Uranus being used and running out of fuel and stuff like that. Garling got low diffed in this chapter with one hand. Yeah, if Garling is getting low diffed by Zebek, I can't be surprised. I mean, we're talking about Roxy Zebek, right? Zebek already killed his father and his grandma, so wife shouldn't be hard. Yeah, I get what you're saying, but Oda could still have like this way where like he didn't have the heart to kill his wife. He just couldn't do it. Or maybe Zebek was trying to save his wife and then he dies. Maybe Zebek died protecting his wife, kind of like a Whitebeard thing. Didn't we also have that recently, guys? Who was it recently in the One Piece manga that died protecting their people or got it was Scopper. Scopper went to save the little kid and Scopper got stabbed. It could be like that. Maybe they were gonna kill Eris and then he died for her or got stabbed for her. Yeah, what's good, Noel? We're gonna have to react to the chapter tomorrow. Unfortunately. Joy Boy's house is on Laughtail. That'd be cool. Emu might destroy God Valley itself by sending it into the abyss. Yeah. That'd be pretty wild if, you know, the God Valley flashback ends and then there's just a massive hole in the ocean, like what we saw from Leloucia in Eni's lobby. Vegapunk arc was rushed. Can't believe the 20 years or so build up that was rushed so hard. Wait, what? I don't. Well, for one, I don't think that the arc was rushed. I thought the arc wasn't it like 60 chapters? And that's like fan scaling. Oda doesn't actually talk about or put lines in the sand as to when each arc begins. But for an example, the One Piece wiki has Egghead Island, the Egghead arc at 68 chapters. That was pretty lengthy. We got a lot of stuff in Egghead, even some stuff that we didn't deserve. But 20 years build up. Are you saying that because of Post Enies Lobby when they were talking about Vegapunk for the first time? I think if we're talking about like a 20-year buildup, that's geared towards more so Elbaf rather than Egghead. Vincent did indeed cook on that one. He said Vince. Yo, Vincent, do you prefer to be called Vince or Vincent, or do you not care? Chapter 1164, Revelations about Joy Boy and Nika. I say it. Yo, I hope so. His character wasn't fleshed out well. Bro, his character, how? We got to see that this guy was like split up into like 6 other beings, and like he had history with O'Hara. He was reading the books, reading the history. He had a brain fruit. He had all these cool inventions. He made his island. He had a relationship with Kuma, relationship with Dragon. Really? You don't think Vegapunk was fleshed out well? I thought he was fleshed out great. All right, boys, I'm getting a little sleepy. Is there anything else we need to talk about, guys? Anything else? More so about 1162? And we'll be back tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow with the chapter reaction. Either is fine. Vincent. The flowers in Emu's garden are chrysanthemums. Dude, what the hell is that? Chrysanthemum. A flower? Oh, it's a type of flower. They represent loyalty, longevity, and happiness. Yo, Emu is not happy. Emu is probably the most depressed person. Yeah, yo, Eric, the God Valley animation is going to be insane. I might have to watch the anime for it. I still got to watch the Egghead anime. The recent episodes of Saturn, I only saw clips where Saturn and the Gorosei showed up. That was sick, bro. All the Gorosei showing up in their monster forms on Egghead in the anime. Is the anime on break right now, or is it still weekly? Imagine that Joy Boy was made as a human, and that it was Oda who made him just like Geppetto created Pinocchio, who was inspired by Jonas. The human will be the narrator. Pinocchio. Yo, Will of Dreams, it's good, man. God bless. We're actually going to be wrapping up here soon. I'm a bit sleepy. Chat, I'm finally back in the gym, man. I wasn't able to work out throughout my entire Japan vacation, dude. You know how bad that is, guys? I'm back in the gym, though. I had arms and back today. Maybe that's why I'm so tired. It was great. Hit biceps, hit back. Tomorrow I'm gonna hit legs and cardio. Gotta get back on the grind, boys. I believe we are 3 chapters away from Loki's flashback beating Odin's flashback. Oh, are you saying that in terms of the length? Or are you saying that in terms of just being so good? I think you're saying that in terms of length. Bro said he couldn't even do calisthenics. Man, I mean, I don't know. I prefer weightlifting and cardio, man. I think like that's my thing, man. You know, especially for the goals that I have. Want to cut down on fat and build some lean muscle. You know, that's what's up. I'm trying to get back on the grind myself. Hey, Eric, you could do it, bro. I'm cheering you on, man. You could do it. It's gonna be rewarding. It's gonna be rewarding, Eric. If you go, even if you go on like a 20-minute walk, a jog or something, your body's going to be pumping all the endorphins. You're going to feel great, man. Your body's going to reward you for lifting weights, for running, jogging, walking. It's going to reward you. You're going to look better after a month, look better after a few months, look radically different in a year. It's going to be rewarding, and you're going to be adding years to your lifespan. Come on, we got to be alive for One Piece. We got to be alive for One Piece, and we got to be alive to take care of our people. Like, I love this saying, guys. If you have somebody, or if you have people in life that you really love, like let's say your mom, right? If you have someone, right, and you would die for them, people always say, "Oh, I would die for my mom. Oh, I would die for my daughter." Okay, but would you live for your mom? Would you live for your daughter? Would you live for your children? Because you could sit there all day saying, "Oh, I would die for my kids," but would you live for your kids? So we gotta try to eat better. You know, if we're gonna crash out and have a pizza or something, we gotta keep that at a minimum. You know, we want to enjoy life, right? Let's enjoy life, but we still got to take care of ourselves. You know, just one step at a time, too. Like, don't tell yourself like, "Oh, I gotta cut out everything right away. I gotta drop everything cold turkey. Gym every single day." Like, no, bro. Like, one step at a time. Start going on walks, 15-minute walk, build up to 20, 25, 30-minute walk. Then make it like a 15-minute jog. Walk when you need to catch your breath. Longer jogs. Start lifting weights. When you combine cardio and weightlifting, I think that's when it's supreme. And I mean, it all just depends on your goals, you know. I preferably choose cardio and lifting. You know, for my goals, I want to cut down on weight. I'm still cutting. And I find it to be optimal to have cardio days, because cardio is really, really good at knocking out a bunch of calories in a day. But the thing is with weightlifting, I think a lot of people don't know this. When you consistently lift weights, right, you are raising your BMR, your is it basal metabolic rate? When you consistently lift weights, you're raising your basal metabolic rate, which means that every day your body needs more calories to maintain weight. So if you have days where you hit cardio and then the rest of the days you're weightlifting, then that means on your cardio days, you're going to be burning a ton of calories, because jogging is very good to burn calories. But then because of your weightlifting days, your maintenance calories is going to be higher. Your BMR is going to be higher. So it makes it even easier to lose weight, because that's what it really comes down to. Losing weight and gaining weight, that's what it really comes down to. Caloric surplus or caloric deficit. I'm trying to be swole, be built like a potato, but I'm about to be built like a potato. Yo, you got to get that JoJo build, my guy. You got to be built like a Joestar. That's the goal. Just messing with you. I prefer calisthenics, but that's because I couldn't afford gym or weights at one point. Yeah, I mean, as long as you're doing something, bro. If calisthenics works for you, then keep going for it, bro. I don't think it's bad. That is like infinitely better than doing nothing, you know? Which all of us, we get into that slump. I've been in that slump. Bro, there's been times in my life where I would just be home literally the whole day just eating junk food. It's very, very, very horrible. You do not want to do that. One, it's depressing. Two, it's extremely unhealthy. And three, it's like, you got to be working towards something, bro. I think it's important that we all have some type of goals in life. First 3 parts of JoJo, though, the later ones got slim. Yo, I watched the first 3 parts of JoJo and I really liked it. I thought it was awesome. You know, every time I try to explain JoJo's to people who've never watched it, they like don't understand the concept and they think it's dumb that like there's a new MC every part. Like I'll tell them like each part has a new MC. It's not like One Piece where Luffy's always the protagonist. Like, no, in JoJo's it's always like a new MC and it's like carrying on the will, like kind of like carrying on like the title of Joy Boy or whatever. But people don't get that. Like I've heard people tell me they're like, oh, that's dumb. Like I want the story to hold to the same main character. But it's like, come on, man. Like every story's like that. You know, you can have a storyline, a manga, anime, whatever, do something radically different and then it's cool. You know, not every story needs to have the same trends, the same patterns, you know, the same themes. The best way to lose weight starts with eating. The less you eat, the more you lose. You can outrun a bad diet. I think you meant to say you can't outrun a bad diet. Oh, yeah, you did say that. Yeah, you definitely cannot outrun a bad diet. MD Luffy, I mostly agree with you. I would just add the context of it's not necessarily eating less. Well, maybe you meant to say this, but I would say it's about eating less calories, not necessarily eating less food. Because you can have, like, let's say someone the whole day they had like a double stack burger and a milkshake. That's all they had. So, like, I mean, that's only like a little bit amount of food, right? But that burger is probably going to have like 1,300 calories. And then the milkshake's going to be like another 1,500 calories. Bro, you're already at 2,800 calories. So that person would say like, oh, well, I ate less and I can't lose weight. But the problem is the calories, because we all have a caloric maintenance. When we eat at that maintenance, our weight stays the same. That's why it's maintenance, caloric maintenance. And this has been tested under strict facilities. There's many studies of this. They put people in a strict facility where like they don't eat anything unless they're being served by the people that are testing on them. It's proven without a shadow of a doubt. Losing weight, gaining weight is caloric surplus and caloric deficit. But with that being said, you also need to eat healthy, you know? We need to have greens. We need to have vegetables. We need to have lots of water, lots of fruits. A lot of times, our bodies are screaming and begging for vitamins that we're not receiving. And how we understand it is, oh, well, I'm hungry. You see the problem there? You see the problem there, MD Luffy? You see the problem, guys? Maybe you'll eat foods that are low calories, that are not very dense in calories, but your body's not getting enough vitamins. You're not getting the vitamin C, vitamin A, vitamin K, vitamin D. You're not getting the protein. You're not getting the fat and sugar. So your body's like, yo, I need vitamins to survive. I need vitamins to grow and repair myself. And you're thinking, oh, well, I'm hungry. So then what do? You go and you eat more, and then you eat, and then you eat, and then you eat, and then you eat. But when your body is being supplied by fruits and vegetables and greens, your body's getting all those things it needs that it can't naturally produce on its own, then your body's more inclined to think like, okay, I'm not very hungry. I'm not starving. And I agree 100% on this one. People severely underestimate their calorie intake. That's 100% true. Most people, they don't even read the nutrition labels, bro. And a lot of people, they don't know how to read a nutrition label. In my opinion, and I'm not saying this like I'm superior, I'm smart, like chat, I'm pretty dumb. You guys know me. You guys watch the streams. I'm a pretty dumb person. But like, in my opinion, it's not very hard to read a nutrition label. You start at the top. You read what the serving size is. That way you can understand what it means by 50% when it says like 50% fat and how big that portion is. It's not hard. You read the serving size. So like, let's say like, I don't know, let's say you buy a package of meat or something and this the serving size says one slice, then that means one slice of the meat is whatever those vitamins and minerals are. So for an example, right? Let's say it says serving size one slice, and then you grab that slice and you read the label and it says like, I don't know, like 20% protein. What that means is that one slice of the meat is 20% of your daily value in protein. So, and that they usually base that off of like a 21-year-old male. So that's also something to take into account. You have to figure out how much, protein, fat, sugar, vitamins you need at your age, your activity level, and your gender. Get some avocados. That truly helps. Yeah, I mean, avocados are a great source of healthy fats. A lot of people overcorrect and they say, or they think that fat is bad. Like, no, you literally need fat. But the problem is that the Western diet is super unhealthy, ultra processed food, horrible forms of fat. Just like how there's bad forms of sugar, bad forms of protein. You need healthy fats. Avocados a great source of healthy fats. And there's different types of fats to help you know which one's good and which one's bad for your certain circumstance. But the thing is, for avocado is I believe that they're very calorically dense. Like they're super dense in calories. So if you ever look at serving sizes for avocados, like the whole avocado, I don't know this off the top of my head, actually. Let me look it up. Because if you're trying to cut weight and you're eating a whole avocado, that's a lot of calories. Let me see. Yeah, so one whole avocado, I have this pulled up on Nutritionix. One whole avocado is 322 calories. That is a lot of calories, bro. So maybe you can, like, what I would do is do maybe like a half avocado, maybe like a third of an avocado if you really want an avocado. But yeah, avocados are really good in fiber. Most people do not get enough fiber, and that's why they have problems in the restroom. They have problems with their stool. People are not getting enough fiber at all, especially because of the white bread nowadays. White bread is so processed, no fiber at all. It's horrible. Most white bread, you would need to eat 3 slices of white bread to get the fiber efficiency of like one whole grain slice of bread. Do you understand how bad that is? You need to eat 3 slices of white bread to make up the fiber of one slice of whole grain bread. That is horrific, bro. You're not going to get enough fiber and you're going to have problems with your body. People in the past who ate a lot of fruits, they were getting enough fiber. And that's another thing. With fruits like apples, they've done studies on this, right? Tiante, they've done studies on this where a lot of times fruits that are not organic, that are fruits that are harvested with a bunch of pesticides and a bunch of chemicals to keep the fruits safe from insects and stuff, they get stripped of their vitamins. So for an example, if you bought an apple, right? A regular apple, non-organic, and then you bought an organic apple. Did you know that the organic apple is going to have 30% or more of the vitamins compared to the non-organic apple? The rates can get even worse. Sometimes you can buy a fruit non-organic, then buy the same fruit organic, and the organic version has 3 times the vitamins as the non-organic. Are you really going to sit there and eat 3 oranges to make up for 1 organic orange? Bro, what exactly, Standy Man, exactly my point. Nutrient density is so important. It is so important. They'll never teach you this in school. Nutrient density, extremely important. So yeah, it's just sad that now when you go to stores, you got to pay like so much money for organic food. You get charged an arm and a leg because you don't want your stuff to be sprayed by pesticides and be stripped of all the vitamins and all the fiber and everything, pumped with 6 different stages of processing. It's just awful. It's just not good. And if you guys want a little bit of the science behind this, basically on certain locations, right, certain fields where they're growing non-organic fruits, they'll spray the fruits, like for an example, blueberries, right? They'll spray blueberries with pesticides, with chemicals to keep the blueberries safe from, they'll say like the sun rays or like the insects and the mice or whatever. But what ends up happening is the fruits, because they're taking all these chemicals to protect them from the environment, the fruits won't produce their antioxidants. They won't produce their defenders anymore because they're being covered in a shield, right? Let me give you an analogy. Like, let's say like one person had like a shield and then the other person didn't have a shield and they had to work out. They had to build muscle. Well, don't you see the problem? Now, when you go and you eat a fruit that's sprayed with these chemicals, acting as the shield from the environment, they are not going to produce a lot of vitamins and a lot of antioxidants like the organic one will. Because the organic fruits, they weren't sprayed with pesticides, they weren't sprayed with chemicals to protect them. They have to naturally produce the antioxidants. So you end up getting a lower quality food, end up getting a lower quality fruit or vegetable because they were sprayed by all these chemicals, these pesticides. It's just, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. Oats are a great source of fiber, 100%. You fund apps like Uber Eats, which is partly owned by Facebook, and you eat Disney shares with Unilever. I've never heard of Unilever before. And I also didn't know that Facebook owned Uber Eats. That's crazy. Uber Eats is extremely bad for society, man. Like, I get it, bro. I've used Uber Eats a lot. I haven't used it in a very long time. Like, I get it, you know, order food straight to your house. I see the appeal. I used to use it a lot, but it's not good, bro. Like, you get into a habit, you stay home all day, watching anime, watching Netflix, and then you order fast food, and then you stay home again. Yo, you're going to gain a lot of weight, and you're going to get super unhealthy, and you're going to get depressed. You're not getting any sunlight. You're not walking. Your body's not moving. Bro, it's not good. It's not good. I overeat a lot. Most of my money's wasted on food. I'm a fatty. Hey, I've been there many times, bro. I've been there many times. As I always say, though, Al, just one step at a time, bro. One step at a time. Make goals for yourself. Hey, you know what? I'm not drinking soda for a week. Boom. All right, you know what? I'm not drinking soda for the next 2 weeks. Boom. All right, you know what? I'm going to go on a 20-minute walk. I'm going to put on a YouTube video or a podcast, or I'm going to put on some music. I'm just going to go walk outside. Just go for a 20-minute walk, just listening to music, just thinking. Just put my mind out there. Just think about God, think about my job, think about my future, my relationship. You do these little things little by little by little, and you'll gradually grow into a whole healthier lifestyle. Don't get yourself into like this idea of like, no, I need to drop all these foods immediately and then start working out 24/7. Yo, that's way too much, bro. That's way too much. And even if you did manage to go head first and jump into that, you're going to get burnt out right away, and you're not going to be able to be consistent. So you got to do step by step, little by little. Have some fun with it, bro. Have some fun. Play some basketball. El, I know you like basketball. That's great, bro. Play some basketball. Go out for a bit. Go for a walk. Put on some music. Do some push-ups, bro. Make it fun. It doesn't have to be like this grueling task, you know? Miss these streams. You are a huge motivator. Yo, thank you, bro. You're L. You are a motivator as well. You motivate me to not quit YouTube. You and the rest of the chat. Axeram, God bless. I buy bread with seeds. So you make your own bread? That's actually amazing, bro. Because bread is one of those foods that's targeted the most for ultra processing and just junk. Literally just empty calories. That's why a lot of bread literally doesn't even have taste to it. You guys ever eat like food that has bread in it and you just don't even taste the bread, and then you just think to yourself, like, what was the point of putting the bread in here? I'm just eating matter. Like, there's no taste to it. It just makes it a little chewy, I guess. Like, what was the point of the bread besides adding calories to my day? That's happening to me a lot. So that's why, like, I don't eat bread unless, like, if I'm eating out, maybe like they have like, maybe I'm getting a sandwich once in a while and like they have the bread. Okay, fine. But like, if I'm cooking at home, I'm not cooking bread. At least consistently. Maybe once in a while I'll have like a slice of toast with some bread. But even then, I'm not using white bread. So, Axerom, I'm glad to see that that you're on this too. Uber Eats in this economy, never again. Yeah, Uber Eats is so expensive too, man. You always get like a $10 delivery drive or delivery fee. Then you got a service fee. Then you got the tax. Then you're guilt tripped into tipping the driver. Then you gotta send money to the driver's GoFundMe. Then you gotta pay his gas. Then you gotta pay his car repair. Then you gotta send money to APAC. You gotta send money to Israel. Bro, by the time you even receive the food, your bank account is drained. It's like, I just drained my bank account for a combo meal. Really? Like, I would have rather just screw that. I'll go make dollar ramen. Make me cup ramen, because why should I have to spend $30 on a burger, fries, and a drink? Rich people who spend a lot must have a serious problem, not to mention religion. I don't know. I would say it's like a case-by-case basis. Some of them are addicted to material goods, which is very bad. Some of them, they just want to have this superiority over other people because, haha, I got more money and I have better things than you. And then other people, some rich people, they're like, yo, I don't even think about money. Like, if I go and I buy like this shirt for $200 and then these pants for $200 and then like this $2,000 jacket, like, I don't care. Like, I'm just buying things. They don't even think about it, you know? So I would say it's like a case by case basis, but it usually centers around materialism. I am trying to lose weight and lost 7 kg. Yo, let's go. That is amazing. Congratulations, chat. Can we get some W's in the chat for Gin Marks? Let's get some W's in the chat for Gin Marks. That is amazing. I'm trying to lose weight and I lost 7 kg. That's a lot of weight too. That's a huge amount of weight. And now need to lose 6 others. But I arrived to a plate where I don't lose weight anymore despite the exercise that I do and how I eat. Have any solutions? Okay, so what you're experiencing is called a plateau. You hit a plateau where you were losing a bunch of weight and now you're stuck and it feels like you don't know what's going on, like you don't know what's going wrong, like you can't lose weight. You're starting to feel disheartened, so you're starting to like question yourself. Like, I've been there, weight plateaus. So there's a few things that would go into this. So the first thing, right, is that hold on. There's a few things that go into this. So the first thing is that when people lose weight, right, usually the first chunk of the weight they will lose is water weight, right? Not like fat, right? So if you lost, like, let's say you were just at a weight for a long time, right? And then you drop 7 kg. A lot of that is probably water weight, which, I mean, this shouldn't be too disheartening to you, because like when you have a lot of water weight, you're bloated. Your face is fat. You got your stomach, your abdominals fat. You know, so if you cut out the water weight, you get slimmer. You look slimmer. So it's a good thing, right? So that's something to consider. The second thing, Gin Marks, is I can't stress this enough. You got to figure out your caloric maintenance. Like, if you take any advice from me, let it be that one. Like, you can ignore everything I say, which, I mean, I would hope you don't, right? um, but if you take anything, let it be that. You need to figure out your caloric maintenance. And you can do this very, very fast, Gin Marks. You can literally Google it. Go on Google, type in calorie maintenance, and open like the first 3 websites. It'll only take you like 5 minutes at most. And what you do is on each website, it asks the same things. It asks, what gender are you? How old are you? How much do you weigh? How tall are you? And what is your activity level? Very basic things. Very, very easy, very, very simple. And what you want to do, Gin Marks, is you want to, because those sites, they're probably going to give you different numbers. Just find the average. Like, let's say I did it, right? And one website told me 2,500. The next website told me 2,750. And then the next website told me 3,000. I would find the average and I would say, okay, it's probably 2,750. So now, Gin Marks, what I would be saying is, okay, my maintenance calories, my caloric maintenance is 2,750 calories. That means if I eat that much calories, I will stay the same weight. It's impossible for me to lose weight. I will never lose weight if I eat that number. So what do I have to do? I have to eat less than that. That's your goal, Gin Marks. So right now, try to find your caloric maintenance, and as you lose weight, your caloric maintenance will drop. So like when you're very overweight, right? When you're very big, your caloric maintenance to maintain your weight is very high because you weigh a lot. But when you lose the weight, your maintenance drops down because you're not as big and your body doesn't need as many calories anymore. So after you lose weight, you gotta recalibrate. So right now you should recalibrate, figure out your maintenance calories and start tracking your calories. It's going to be annoying. You know, every time you eat, you're going to have to write it down and track it. It's going to be annoying. It's going to be tedious. It's not going to be fun. But once you get the hang of it and if you get very good at it, you could kind of do the math in your head. You know, for me, I've had a lot of experience tracking calories for many, many years. So for me, like, it's not too hard. That's not the part that I struggle with. The part that I struggle with usually is cravings. Like when I like getting hungry. Like right now I'm hungry, bro. I want to eat, you know? But again, just figure out your caloric maintenance. Start tracking your calories. There's a lot of free websites that'll help you track your calories. Literally, you can get like a journal. You could get websites that tell you how many calories are in each type of food. And then just be at a caloric deficit, meaning you want to be at a deficiency, meaning you want to eat less calories than your maintenance. And I promise you, Gin Marks, you will lose weight. Exercising helps because exercising will basically raise your calorie maintenance. It goes a bit deeper than this, but Gin Marks, I hope that answers your question. If you have more questions, you can always message me on Discord. Feel free to ask me whatever it is. Don't feel embarrassed. Man, I used to be super heavy, bro. The heaviest I ever weighed was 210, and I'll never, ever go back to that in my life, bro. That was an awful time. I used to stay home and literally order DoorDash breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's awful, bro. I remember, like, I think it was like Christmas or Thanksgiving. I went into the bathroom, and I was like, all right, I'm finally going to do it. And every man should do this, chat. Every man should do this. I went into the bathroom and I'm like, all right, I'm going to take my shirt off and I'm going to look in the mirror. Enough of hiding my body. I took my shirt off and I looked in the mirror and I was just astonished. And I was like, no, starting tonight. And literally that night, I think it was literally Christmas night, I went and I jogged. I literally went into a jog. I ran on a jog. It was actually pretty cold. I ran on a jog and I was like, no, I'm not doing this. And I cut out all the fast food. Started jogging every single day, getting the exercising in, push-ups, all that type of stuff. I don't even know why I'm going on this tangent. Chat, why did I go on this tangent? But yeah, I've been there. We've all been there. Most of us have been there. Not everyone is so blessed to have been skinny their whole life. Some people I know have been skinny their whole life, and they want to act like, no, I'm not skinny. Yo, is this stuck? All right. No problem, Gin Marks. Got you. Hookups help with losing weight too. Hookups. Chonkville. Chonkville. God bless, Brad. Yo, is that Pikachu is a straw hat? I love it. Them white dress parties make anyone skinny. Yo, that's insane. Whitebeard standing with rocks all the way until the end hits the soul. It reminds me of when Legolas and the dwarf said, I'd never thought I would die side by side an elf. How about side by side by a friend? Who is Legolas? I have no idea what you're talking about. Is that like Lord of the Rings? That's a total guess. Is that Lord of the Rings? Oh, it is Lord of the Rings. Dude, that was a total guess. I don't even watch that. Because I heard elf and then I heard Legolas and I was like, Shut up. She beats you in Mario Kart. Bro, all right. With that, we're ending the stream. I'm not going to be diving into this garbage propaganda, L. I don't lose at Mario Kart. I don't, bro. You know how many hours in Mario Kart Double Dash? I will smoke anybody on Mario Kart Double Dash. Come play me in Baby Park. Come play me on bro, any couple you're choosing Mario Kart Double Dash. I'm whooping anybody, bro. And you know who I'm going in Mario Kart Double Dash? I'm going Green Koopa in Diddy Kong, and I'm using the train. No one's beating me. See, you guys don't even know what I'm talking about. Diddy Kong, what is he talking about? The train, what is he talking about? You guys aren't real ones. You guys don't play Mario Kart Double Dash. Have you played Mario Kart in Japan? Yeah, bro. Me and my wife on our Japan vacation, we went to the Japanese arcades. And we played the Mario Kart on like the arcade machine, you know, like the one that's like in HD or whatever on the seat. And then we went to a retro bar and we played Mario Kart on the Nintendo 64. Yo, actually, before I end the stream, I actually got to tell you guys one more story in Japan. Yo, this was hilarious, dude. This was so funny. I couldn't believe it. And it goes to show how mainstream this has become. All right, chat. I'm gonna give you guys a story before we end the stream and wrap it up because it's already 12:30. All right, chat. So check me out, right? Me and my wife, we're in Japan, right? We shop, we're having a nice night, we have dinner, boom, we got some nice clothes. Say, all right, we're gonna end our day going to a retro bar in Japan. So we're trying to find the place. It's raining, we got an umbrella, we're getting wet. It's like, this sucks. So we find the retro bar. And it's upstairs, and it's a long flight of stairs. And I'm like, oh, man, I hope I don't slip down and fall, especially when I leave the bar because, you know, I'm going to have a drink or two. So we go upstairs. It's like this little, I don't know how to explain it. Imagine like you went up, like you were outside. How do I even explain this? Like we were outside, like on the street, right? Streets of Japan. And we're outside and we go up the staircase and then we enter like the second floor, and it's a really small room, and a whole bunch of people were in the room. And there's arcade machines. There's a Nintendo 64 setup. I think I saw an Xbox setup, a GameCube setup. It looked really cool. They had lights everywhere. And then two American sounding people walk up and they're talking to us like, hey, where you from? Like, glad to see you. Like, look around, whatever. So we're looking around. It looks really cool. They got all the lights and the music's loud. Everyone's having a good time. It was like, yo, this is actually pretty cool. So we're like, all right, how do we play the games? Because they had like systems. They had like a GameCube. I think I saw an Xbox in the corner, Nintendo 64, arcade machine. We're like, okay, how do we play a game? So they're like, oh, in order to play the games, you can play the games. They're free, but you just have to order a drink. So we're like, okay, well, we're going to order a drink. And I was noticing like clearly a bunch of the people there, like they had a drink. They definitely had a drink, right? So I'm looking through the menu, and all the drinks are based off of video game stuff. Like they had a peach drink, a Bowser shot, a Luigi shot, like a whole bunch of shots and whiskeys and stuff like that based off of different video games. Did we get the peach one? Princess Peach? I think we got like a peach shot. Anyways, we get the peach shot, and they're like, all right, cool. Like, thanks for showing up. Like, feel free to look around, play around. So we're playing the arcade games. And then we get to the Nintendo 64, and we're on Mario Kart, right? Me and my wife, right? No, I wasn't drunk. I only had one shot. So we're playing Mario Kart, right? Yo, this is so funny. We're playing Mario Kart, and I hear this black girl behind me, right? She's speaking in English, and they're all talking in English because I guess like the people that own the bar were Americans. They sounded like they had like a, my accent, American accent, right? The black girl's going off about something. She was talking about Epstein and Trump and talk about like the politics. And she's like, yeah, like, I thought Trump was cool. He was going to put out the Epstein files. Where the Epstein files at? And I was laughing. I thought that was funny. I wasn't in the conversation. I was just kind of listening because she was pretty loud right behind me. And then she's going on and on and on. And then I hear her at some point, she's saying like, Kanye West was right. And I was like, wait, he was right? And I'm listening. I'm thinking like, yo, what is she about to say? And she's like, bro, like I looked into this, a lot of conspiracy theories. They want to make it seem like they're crazy, but like these people really know what they're talking about. These people do their research. And like she's talking to a white guy and he's like, yeah, I agree. Like not all of them are crazy. A lot of conspiracy theories are true. And then she starts subtly pointing at the Jays. She's like, look at all the people that own like this thing. Look at Trump's cabinet. How are they all the same people? And she starts naming all these different things. All the media in Hollywood, how are they the same people? And I'm like, yo, no way. I'm in a Japanese retro bar and a black girl is naming the J right behind me. And I kid you not, the white guy that was talking to her, yo, he was fully on board. You know what he said? This man he literally said, yeah, bro, it's a Zionist every single time. And I was just saying, yo, how mainstream is this now? People are talking like this in public at a retro video game bar. He really said, yeah, it's a Zionist every single time. And I was just thinking, bro, is it a Zionist every single time or is it a J every single time? It was so funny. I wasn't even paying attention to Mario Kart at that point. Exactly. You literally took the words right out of my mouth, L. I was not even playing the game at that point. I was literally laughing. And me and my wife were crashing into the walls, like on the track, playing Mario Kart. I wasn't even focused on the game anymore. It was so funny. But like, this just goes to show like how mainstream like the J-woke stuff is, how talking about Israel and exposing Israel is like, it's just everyone like knows about it now. And I can only imagine what it's going to be like in 10 years from now. Actually insane, man. Japan was Germany's ally, so I wouldn't be surprised. I think she was American, though, because I heard at one point they were talking about America, and she's like, I don't know if I would ever go back. And she sounded like me. Like, she talks like me, American accent. But I get what your point is, though. Like, Japan being an Axis, I get what you're saying, though. Man, I was gonna join the conversation and agree with her at one point, but I was like, I'm just gonna be solo dolo on this one. Just me and my wife just playing Mario Kart. It was really funny though. We were dying. We were listening to that, just laughing, man. Like crazy that I could just run into that. You know what's crazy is like no one gave her pushback. Like when she was saying this, and then the other guy was like, yeah, it's a Zionist every single time. That was literally, chat, I kid you not. That was exactly how he said it. He said, it's a Zionist every single time. And I thought like every single time, we know when we use that phrase. Come on, bro. Japan has retrieved its dependency on the U.S. Are you saying that Japan is depending on the U.S., or are you saying that it's not anymore? Yeah, the Jays fear the samurai. I would have made some new friends. You rate this knowledge is far more mainstream, but I wouldn't be surprised if Japan doesn't hide that stuff. Yeah, they probably don't. I hope you didn't talk to Japanese people, especially women. Wait, why? Oh, not anymore. That's good. All right, chat. We're going to wrap this up here. 2 hours and 14 minutes on the stream. 2 hours and 14 minutes. Thank you all for being here. God bless each and every one of you. This is my Japan shirt. Yeah, look at that. Japan, baby. God bless each and every one of you. Have a beautiful morning, day, or night, wherever you guys are. I will catch you guys on the next stream. I will catch you guys on the next show, which should be tomorrow. Chapter reaction for 1162. And Oda dropped a banger. Yes, sir. Oda dropped a banger this week. I can't wait to see this chapter. And I heard there's a break next week, guys. Quite depressing. I think we got to do a stream to make up for the break week. We'll see. Hopefully we could do another open mic, another debate stream. Man, I want people to come challenge me on the Catholic Church instead of crying in DMs. You know who you are. Still love you, bro. I still love you. You know who you are. But look, man, come challenge me on the Catholic Church. Challenge me on the Marian dogmas, the Eucharist, justification, the sacraments, or challenge me on One Piece. If you guys disagree with my One Piece takes, or you guys want me to change my mind, or you guys want to convince me of your position, whatever it is, hey, open mic soon, hopefully. We'll try our best. But God bless all of you. Take care, chat. Get some good, healthy food. Get some good water. Go on a walk. Go on a jog. Listen to some music. Some good music. Read some books, chat. And recommend me some books, guys. I want to read up on some history, chat. I want to read some Japanese history, Rome history, Christian history. I want to read up on Freemasonry, all types of stuff, guys. Recommend me some good books, maybe a little bit of philosophy, but recommend me some interesting books that you guys know about. I'm always trying to learn about all different types of things. God bless all of you. I believe in all of you. Christ loves you. Jesus Christ reigns supreme. Christ is king. The name above all names, Jesus Christ above all. He died for you on the cross. Give your life to him. Search for him. Knock and he'll answer. God bless everybody.
If the world hates you, just remember that it has hated me first. If you belong to the world, then the world would love you as its own. But I chose you from this world, and you do not belong to it. That is why the world hates you. Whoever hates me, hates my Father also. They would not have been guilty of sin if I had not done among them the things that no one else has done. As it is, they have seen what I did, and they hate both me and my Father. They hated me for no reason at all.